Hello, dear Homopedia family. Many hold the mistaken belief that Spanish-style architecture is destined to feel like a kitschy theme park or a dated restaurant chain, burdened by heavy drapery and excessive wrought iron. We often associate this aesthetic with a dark, cluttered past that feels incompatible with the airy lightness demanded by contemporary living. However, this perspective fails to recognize the evolution of the style. True Hacienda-Chic is not a costume. It is the negation of clutter, stripping away the ornamental excess to reveal the raw, honest bones of the structure, proving that history can be the ultimate form of modernism. Modernity traps us in sterile drywall boxes, severing our connection to the earth and ignoring our thirst for tactile depth. This sensory deprivation turns homes into hollow shells, agitating the spirit. The remedy lies in Hacienda-Chic, resolving the conflict through the cooling embrace of thick plaster and the scent of sun-baked terracotta. By valuing mass over volume, we ground our digital lives in artisanal imperfection. If this return to soulful architecture speaks to you, like and subscribe to build a better sanctuary. The unseen hero of any hacienda remodel is the wall texture itself, yet standard drywall creates a flatness that feels acoustically and visually hollow. We reject the perfection of level 5 smooth finishes because they reflect light too harshly, creating a clinical atmosphere. Instead, we specify hand-troweled lime wash or plaster. This resolves the spatial friction of sterility by introducing microshadows that trap light, giving the walls a breathable, organic quality that changes throughout the day, softening the acoustic bounce and making the room feel like it is embracing you. Flooring often presents a budgetary and aesthetic conflict. Hardwood feels too common, while concrete can feel too industrial and cold underfoot. The agitation comes from a lack of warmth in open spaces. We solve this by utilizing handmade saltillo or terracotta tiles. These materials act as a thermal battery, absorbing heat during the day and releasing it at night, resolving the thermal variance of the home while providing a color palette that grounds the furniture. The uneven nature of the tiles forces a slower pace of movement, subtly altering how we traverse the space. The transition between rooms in modern homes is often abrupt and rectangular, creating a rigid psychological separation. This sharp geometry creates visual tension that disrupts the flow of energy. To pivot the atmosphere, we introduce the archway not as a decoration, but as a framing device. By softening the corners, we resolve the visual harshness, guiding the eye gently from one zone to another. The arch acts as a proscenium, turning the view into the next room into a composed vignette rather than just another open space. The kitchen island has become a monolithic slab of cold stone in most luxury homes, feeling more like an autopsy table than a gathering spot. This coldness agitates the desire for a communal, warm hearth. We pivot by integrating warm wood elements or using honed, matte finishes on darker stones instead of polished marble. We might wrap the base in walnut or introduce a butcher block section. This tactile shift resolves the temperature conflict, encouraging inhabitants to lean against it and linger, restoring the kitchen's role as the emotional center. Lighting in traditional homes is often over-reliant on recessed cans, which creates the Swiss cheese effect on the ceiling and flat, interrogation-style illumination. This ruins the mood and flattens the architectural details we worked so hard to create. We resolve this by minimizing overhead lighting and relying on lower-level ambient sources like wrought iron sconces and floor lamps. This shift forces the light to wash up and down the walls, highlighting the plaster texture and creating intimate pockets of shadow that invite relaxation. Ceiling height can be a double-edged sword. While we crave volume, high ceilings can often feel cavernous and unanchored. The spatial friction here is the loss of human scale. We address this by installing reclaimed exposed beams. These are not merely structural. They serve as a visual lid that brings the ceiling down to a comfortable perception without losing the actual height. The dark wood creates a rhythm that directs the eye and contrasts with the white plaster, resolving the vastness of the room into comprehensible bays. Kitchen backsplashes often suffer from the ubiquity of white subway tile, which, while safe, lacks narrative and soul. The problem is that the kitchen feels indistinguishable from a commercial space. We solve this by sourcing hand-painted talavera or Xeriscaping tiles. The slight variations in color and the chipped edges of these artisan tiles disrupt the grid, introducing the human element of imperfection. This complexity draws the eye and resolves the aesthetic boredom of the utilitarian space. Cabinetry in modern design often favors high-gloss, touch latch systems that show every fingerprint and feel plastic. This creates a daily friction of maintenance and a lack of tactile satisfaction. We choose solid wood cabinetry with a natural stain or a painted finish that reveals the grain, paired with substantial hardware. The resolution is in the weight. Opening a heavy door with a solid brass pull creates a sensory confirmation of quality and permanence that flimsy composites can never achieve. Hardware choices are frequently an afterthought, with chrome or brushed nickel feeling lightweight and disposable. The agitation arises when the touch points of the home feel cheaper than the structure itself. We resolve this by specifying unlacquered brass or oil-rubbed bronze. These living finishes interact with the oils in our hands, developing a patina over time. This decision turns every door handle into a recording device of the home's history, resolving the conflict between the new renovation and the desire for timelessness. The modern backyard is often a flat expanse of grass, disconnected from the interior living space, creating a barrier to true indoor-outdoor living. We address this by designing a central courtyard or bringing the hardscape up to the door threshold. By continuing the terracotta flooring from the inside out to the patio, we dissolve the boundary between the shelter and the sky. This resolves the spatial separation, effectively doubling the entertaining footprint and pulling natural light deep into the core of the home. Corridors are traditionally dead space, utilitarian tunnels meant only for transit. This is a wasted opportunity in a luxury home. We transform these into galleries or arcades, widening them where possible and adding niche lighting for art or recessed shelving. By treating the hallway as a destination rather than a bypass, we resolve the spatial boredom, turning the act of moving from the bedroom to the kitchen into a momentary architectural experience. Silence in a home can sometimes feel oppressive or stagnant, especially in large, thick-walled structures. The lack of auditory movement agitates the senses. We introduce small, recirculating water features, either in the entry courtyard or a small atrium. The sound of trickling water provides a white noise floor that masks exterior street noise and creates a meditative rhythm. This auditory layer resolves the feeling of isolation, bringing a pulse of life to the stillness. The fireplace is often reduced to a gas insert with a glass front, which feels performative and lacks thermal mass. A fake fire creates a sense of distrust in the design. We insist on masonry hearths, even if gas assist is used, with a substantial mantel or plaster surround. The visual weight of the chimney breast anchors the living room. This resolves the lack of a focal point, providing a primitive, gravitational center for the furniture arrangement. Bathrooms in luxury builds frequently drift towards the clinical, with floor-to-ceiling white marble that feels cold to the touch. The agitation is the shock of cold surfaces in a space meant for vulnerability. We resolve this by using Tadelakt, a waterproof lime plaster, or warm travertine. These materials hold ambient temperature better and offer a soft skin-like texture. This material switch transforms the bathroom from a sterilization chamber into a warm, womb-like retreat. The vessel sink is a controversial element, but standard undermount porcelain sinks disappear and offer no delight. We resolve this by choosing carved stone or hammered copper vessels. The conflict of splashing is mitigated by proper faucet height and bowl depth. The resolution is tactile. The sound of water hitting stone or metal is fundamentally different than hitting ceramic, reinforcing the connection to natural elements every time hands are washed. Textiles in a hacienda home cannot be synthetic. Shiny polyesters clash with the matte finishes of plaster and wood. The friction is between the organic shell and artificial contents. We curate linens, wools, and heavy cottons. These natural fibers breathe and age gracefully, matching the ethos of the architecture. This decision resolves the disconnect between the building and the decor, ensuring that the soft goods support the hard surfaces rather than fighting them. Fast furniture with sharp angles and chrome legs looks alien in a space defined by arches and earth tones. The agitation comes from the clash of eras and philosophies. We source antiques or custom pieces with turned legs and substantial upholstery. Integrating a 17th century Spanish table with a modern deep sofa resolves the timeline, proving that the home is a collection of lives lived, not a showroom catalog page. Landscaping in the front of the house often relies on water-hungry lawns that look artificial against a Spanish facade. The conflict is environmental and aesthetic. We implement xeriscaping with olive trees, agave, and rosemary. These plants share the same color palette as the house sage greens and dusty grays. This resolves the disconnect between the architecture and the land, making the house appear as if it grew from the soil rather than being placed upon it. Staircases are often covered in carpet, which wears down, or slippery polished wood. This creates a safety hazard and a maintenance headache. We use tile risers with wood treads, or full tile steps with wood nosing. The patterns on the risers introduce a vertical rhythm and cultural storytelling element. This resolves the utilitarian nature of the stair, turning it into a sculptural centerpiece that is durable and beautiful. Roofing is the hat of the house, and asphalt shingles on a Spanish home are a design crime that flattens the character. The agitation is the loss of historical silhouette. We advocate for red clay barrel tiles, even if used only on the perimeter with a flat roof behind. The repetition and color of the clay tiles provide the necessary contrast to the blue sky and white walls, resolving the external color balance and managing heat gain efficiently. Technological integration is necessary, but often ugly. Plastic thermostats and switches ruin the plaster aesthetic. The friction is between modern convenience and old-world charm. We resolve this by hiding technology using plaster and mounting platforms for switches, hiding TVs behind sliding tapestry panels or in armoires. This concealment resolves the visual noise, allowing the architecture to speak without the interruption of glowing LEDs. Finally, the cohesion of the palette is critical. Using too many colors creates visual chaos. We stick to a strict palette of the earth tones: terracotta, ochre, sage, warm white, and deep brown. The agitation of a scattered palette is resolved by this discipline, creating a seamless visual flow where no single element screams for attention, but rather the entire composition hums with a quiet, unified luxury. The lasting impact of the Hacienda-Chic aesthetic is not found in the photogenic moments, but in the psychological shift it creates for the inhabitants. By choosing materials that patina and age-living finishes, natural stone and organic plaster, we are resolving the modern anxiety of perfectionism. We accept that the home, like us, will change over time, accumulating marks and memories. This design philosophy moves the needle from viewing the home as a status symbol to viewing it as a sanctuary, a place where the architecture itself serves to ground and calm the human spirit. Sterile modernism often leaves us cold, creating friction between rigid interiors and the sensory richness of the natural world. How do we resolve this dissonance? Hacienda-Chic answers by dissolving boundaries. It bridges the divide through the cool touch of terracotta and the scent of sun-baked lime plaster, merging historic grandeur with contemporary ease. This aesthetic solves the craving for permanence in a disposable era. If this vision of soulful living inspires your next remodel, please like and subscribe to support our channel.